Thanks for joining us. For the next half hour, I have a brief of the most trending political stories in the country. One, adherence to COVID-19 protocols remain a challenge at some voter registration centers, while the EC warns persons who disregard COVID-19 protocols will be turned away. The political parties will give an assessment of the registration exercise so far. We'll speak to some of them as they accuse their opponents of busing people into other constituencies. And there's a new presidential hopeful joining the fray.
I believe that Ghanaians are fed up with the system, and definitely they are looking for a change. And therefore, the change we are going to provide on our front is a dynamic leadership from the independent candidature.
We'll tell you more about Samuel Ofori-Ampofo. We are live from our studio here at Kokomimle in Accra, DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Stay tuned in. I'm Barbara Kumson. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Electoral Commission has warned that persons who disregard the social distancing protocols during the registration exercise will be sent home. Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Srebo Kweku, stated in an interview on Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV that individuals had to take personal responsibility for their own safety or face the consequences. The commission was criticized by various stakeholders after safety measures were abandoned by voter ID applicants on Tuesday, which was the first day of registration. Health experts fear there will be a spike in cases of COVID-19 soon if this is not checked. Listen to Dr. Srebo Kweku's response.
They may not necessarily do that at the registration center, but people should appreciate that wherever they go, it will be in their interest and the interest of their family, interest of all Ghanaians to ensure the social distancing. As for the application of the thermometer, water, and the rest, they had no choice. But the social distancing is the challenge, and I will entreat that once we are dealing with people 18 years and above, they should appreciate the implications of not observing the social distancing. So today we are going to ask our people to seriously force people to observe them. If they can't, then they should rather leave the place.
Now, you do recall the Ghana Medical Association in an earlier statement said government should take action against the commission if the wanton disregard for safety continues throughout the registration. But Dr. Srebo Kweku believes this is unfair.
What I would say is that instead of apportioning blame and threatening people, let us all agree and commit ourselves to the education. Let us all let people know the implication of their actions instead of threatening and the most important, all of us, every Ghanaian should be committed to that. If you go there and you see that it's not working, help to educate the people. I think that will give more results instead of the threats.
Do you feel like that particular threat, as you call it, is unfair?
I think so, because we are talking of adults who should know what is right. So people should take their own health situation into their hands. So everybody should be on board to help us educate the people and ask people to observe the protocols.
Now let's get a sense of how the exercise played out today. Voter registration exercise in the Ododo-Diodio constituency are delayed for 5 hours after disagreements between EC registration officials and representatives of the political parties present over some centers that were excluded from the exercise. Social distancing and all COVID-19 protocols were disregarded again as persons who had come to register stood in long winding queues, some of them without masks. Maxwell Abagba was in the constituency and now reports.
Disappointingly, here at the Blessed Assurance Registration Center, social distancing is not really happening. I want to take you, well, many of the people here have started wearing their masks after they've seen our cameras. But what we observed when we came here was that some of them had it in their pocket, some of them were wearing it under their chins. In fact, many of them were not wearing their masks. Social distancing, it's a big problem here. Now I'm hearing, some of the officials here telling them to space out. But you can clearly see that social distancing is not really working here. I have a concerned resident You are a resident.
Yes.
And before we pulled out our cameras, you saw the situation here.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the situation was like before we pulled out the cameras?
The situation is not all that good. Social distancing, social distancing poor. Nose masks, no. Washing of hands, I am not seeing it. But what I'm seeing really, what I'm seeing really is the thermometer gun. The thermometer gun is being applied.
Okay.
But for the social distancing, you can even see from the cameras that it is not the best. And some of them are not even having their nose masks, and they are even shouting.
David Anna,
yeah.
Okay. Are you a resident here?
Yes, I'm a resident here.
Okay, so tell me.
Even we advise most of them to wear it because the thing is very dangerous. The sickness is very dangerous. But to my opinion, I have only one problem to say. This kind of queue is unnecessary. To me, it's very unnecessary. Because why the government didn't want to use the old one? Why the government didn't want to use the old voters ID card to vote?
The man over here, I can see his. Let's get closer to him and find out from him what his. Chief, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Right, cheers, man.
Yeah. What's your name, sir?
My name is Frederick Makankwa.
Okay.
Frederick Makankwa, yeah. Very densely populated area. So obviously you're going to have these challenges.
Okay.
It is normal.
Are you part of the EC?
Sorry?
Are you part of the EC?
I am an official for a political party.
Okay,
right? My people in Choco respected social distancing before. No. It's a problem that they always, you see? It's a problem we have here. They won't respect it. This is Choco for you.
Okay, we are here at the City Engineers Registration Center 1 and 2. And as you can see, some persons have gathered here outside the presence of the registration center. So, this lady standing here is one of the people deployed here, one of the health persons deployed here to this particular registration center. Hi, what's your name?
Dr. I'm here to check the temperature and to record any case which is beyond me.
Okay.
So I quickly check their temperature before they go wash their hands, then they proceed to the next level.
Okay. If you say beyond you, what exactly do you mean? It doesn't mean that if someone's temperature is above
38, from 38 going, then I put the person aside, fill a form, and then refer the person to our clinic, Osha Polyclinic.
I've been speaking to the Jamestown District Crime Officer, ASP Williams Kalami. He says they are enforcing the strict wearing of the face mask here. Persons who show up at this registration center without a face mask are asked to go home, get one before they return.
So far today is very calm as compared to yesterday. Because initially yesterday there was a problem which was resolved leading to late start of the program. So people were agitating. But today everything is smooth. I think with the programs we put in place, everything is very smooth. The role of the police is very simple, to maintain law and order so that the exercise moves on smoothly.
Okay. Are you also checking whether people are complying with the social distancing protocol and the wearing of face masks? Are you also doing that here?
Yes, of course. You know, we are faced with a pandemic. And we must make sure we are all safe. So we see to it that people come with face masks. The social distances should also be observed. So we are ensuring that it is observed.
What about those who come without face masks? What happens to them?
Yeah, personally, I have even spotted some people who were not wearing face masks, and I advised them and sacked them, and they went back and came back in there.
Okay. So if you come here without face masks, you'll be sacked and asked to go and get one?
Yes, sure.
Now, as you may already know, the first day of the registration exercise across the country on Tuesday was characterized by delays, machine breakdowns, and zero regard for the COVID-19 protocols. Although the Electoral Commission admits a few challenges, it says the exercise was largely successful. We've heard from the Ghana Medical Association. We've also heard from CODEO, which is an observer group. on their own assessment. But what about the political parties? We've been joined by some representatives of the political party. First is the NPP, represented by its national organizer, Sami Ewuku. Many thanks for your time, Mr. Ewuku. So what's your initial assessment of this exercise?
Well, a very good afternoon to all your cherished viewers. For us, yesterday being the first day, we expected that there will be some few teething problems, and this is not only limited to such an exercise. Any exercise with of such a national character, you're bound to have some few challenges from its beginning. So we didn't give up from day one, and we didn't give up on day one. We were across the country, our agents were all in place, also monitoring the exercise with their eagle eye and recording every event that took place in the poll books that we've provided for all our agents across the country. Again, we also witnessed some few instances where people were not in face masks and they were turned away and they came back wearing face masks. Again, we also witnessed some few incidents of people not properly observing the social distance protocol. But that is more of attitude now when it comes to our people. But today, I've seen massive improvement. So I speak to you, I mean, Kokomo in the eastern region, part of the Kaplan North constituency. And I'm so impressed. You know, it's a village setting, the way they set up the place with proper social distancing and a queue for the elderly. I mean, I want to commend the authorities here. Such a good job.
Mr. One of the challenges that has come up is the challenge with the social distancing protocols, the failure by the people to adhere to these protocols. What can your party do to ensure that people respect these protocols?
I mean, we keep educating them. It's education, education, education. The Electoral Commission can provide the PPs, as I've observed, they have when it comes to the Veronica bucket, when it comes to the hand sanitizers, the hand paper towel, the liquid soap. But if you wash your hands and sanitize your hands and after that you go to hug your brother or sister, then it comes to a no. So we keep educating them, and that is a shared responsibility. It's not just a responsibility for the Electoral Commission, but the shared responsibility for us political parties, the Electoral Commission, you, the media, and also not focusing too much on the negativities, encouraging people and still educating them. For us, we believe that should be the focus, and not be playing the fear or pressing the fear button and escalating the fear-mongering approach.
Well, speaking of the fear-mongering, I'm sure that you may be referring to what the Honourable Member for Asawasi Muntaka Mubarak may have said. But there have been accusations of some of your people busing people into, you know, constituencies where they don't reside. How do you respond to that? For example, this morning, the NDC in the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency claims that the MP there, you know, masterminded the busing of several people outside of the constituency. And we are hearing many more reports like this across the country.
I'm not aware of this development. However, when you say that people don't reside there, is the person not ordinarily resident, as stated in the CI 136? Is that the position of the NDC? Their approaches to this matter. That is why I strongly disagree with the NDC's chief organizer, their national organizer, when he said he has given instructions to their party against to physically resist. They are, you know, in the CI 136, it gives us provisions to secret beds.
All right, Mr. Oku, just give me a minute. Hold it there. I do understand that we have a video of the constituency chairman of the Ayawaso West Wuogon NDC, Bismarck Abobi Aite, who claims the MP, Lydia Al-Hassan, is bringing people from other constituencies such as Ayawaso East and North and La Dadekotopong, among others. Let's listen to him and we'll come back to that discussion.
It's all about Lydia Al-Hassan. What Lydia Al-Hassan is doing, which is inimical to the process, is that she is importing people from other constituencies. Okay, Ayawaso North, Ayawaso East, Ladadekotopon, Kwabenya, all the adjoining constituencies of Ayawaso West Wuogon. Above all, she's bringing people from Ada, she's bringing people from Somanya, she's bringing people from Atiavi, she's bringing people from Eastern region as far as Isawem. This morning we had a hint that there was 2 buses coming from Isawem being NPP people, they are bringing to come and register. So we went and we intercepted the car. What we are saying is that it is wrong. We are in an elite community. Ayawaso West Wogon constituency is the most elite community in Ghana. So allow the people, the grown-ups there, people who have businesses there, to determine who should be their MP. But if you go and import the youth from other constituencies to come and elect MP for us, then you are not being fair. It's an insult to the integrity and the willpower of the people residing in this constituency. People like Despite, they are here. We have many university lecturers are here. We have prominent people, middle class, upper class people. Why don't you allow them to go and vote and elect who should lead them? At the end of the day, when development comes, the people who are coming from far and near will, Lady Alasa, bring the development to your constituency. Please stay in your constituency and elect your own MP and make sure that the MP will go to Parliament and bring goodies to your constituency. What you are doing is illegal, it's wrong, it doesn't fall within the remits of CI 126. So media, we are entreating all of them, those near and far, they should stop coming. When you come, we will challenge you and we will make sure that you don't get your card. Your name will be removed from the register, meaning that you have wasted your time. Above all, COVID-19. Why do you bus people? They were not even respecting social distancing. Then you bus people up and you bring them to come and register for you without respecting the social protocol that the government is preaching.
So that's the NDC's Ayawaso West Wogon chairman there making those claims. Of course, we cannot independently verify those claims. But is this something that your party will be looking into?
I don't think we'll be wasting time to look into this matter. I don't think so. Because this man has been consistent in his vitriolic attacks on the member of parliament. He's been consistent in his allegations over the period. There were times that when the Ayawaso was to come by elections, they alleged something. I don't think the MPP is going to waste time following this constituency.
So that was Samuel Oku. He's national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party. Well, Bismarck Abobia Ayete is NDC chairman in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. You heard him a while ago. Meanwhile, research fellow at the Institute of Democratic Governance, IDEC, Kwesi Jonah, says, although this is a normal occurrence in Ghanaian politics, it is a worrying trend. He spoke on PM Express.
There are 5 clusters, 5 police stations in a cluster, and every police station will be in this cluster will be attended to. Somehow, people have misunderstood that they may not come to my police station. So I want to rush very early to go and register. That is a different matter. So subsequently, when the team moves to other stations, there may not even be enough people to register because many of them would have gone to the first and the second station to register. That is a completely different problem. This one is due to lack of communication. But the other one, busing people across constituency boundaries to register is a completely different problem. What happens is that if a party feels that in a nearby constituency, I have too many votes, I can definitely win the seat. I don't need all the numbers. But in the next constituency, I have nearly not enough voters to be able to capture that seat. In this case, Asawase. So they move some of the surplus voters across constituency boundaries. It's not from one police station to the other. So what Honorable Muntaka is complaining about is moving people from nearby constituencies to Asawase constituency to register in order to increase the NPP's power. What serious allegation he has made is that the EC is conniving by locating the registration centers across the borders of the constituencies so that people can very easily sneak from one constituency. These are, the first one, it has always been there, passing people across constituencies to go and inflate the votes in another candidate, another constituency. But everybody, but people don't understand it that way.
So it's day 2 of the voter registration process, and some of our reporters indicate adherence to the COVID-19 protocols continue to remain a challenge at some registration centers in the Greater Accra region. Now let's go on the line and speak to the NDC's national organizer, Joshua Akamba, for some assessment of yesterday's exercise. Many thanks for your time. Do you share the concerns by some of your colleagues, even across the political divide, that, you know, non-adherence to the social distancing protocols is a challenge in this exercise?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. Madam, it's sad. It's so sad. Obviously, we are not surprised about it. That's why we kept sending a signal, a warning to the government and EC that we all have to be careful. But the government actually, the ruling party actually set some examples for all of us to follow. You remember over the last week or so, where they had close to about 42 of the.
Mr. Akamba, if you could kindly reposition, we are unable to hear you effectively.
What I'm saying is that we are not surprised at all of the happenings now, because the MPP did show some examples when they had their elections where they had close to 42 city members of parliament losing. And so we were not surprised that it was also going to be happening. And obviously, that is what is happening. Yesterday, we should be at the polling stations to see what was happening. I mean, even the EC officials themselves, their lives are in danger if it's something to go by. No PPEs were supplied to them as EC officials. People who were there could just walk anyhow and meet and touch and hold, and I mean, it's chaotic.
Right. Mr. Akamba, we're told by the EC that people who refuse to adhere to the social distancing protocols will not be allowed to participate in the exercise. What's your opinion on this? Is this the way to go?
No, not just laughing. Madam always do like this. Would lie, and this yet another lie. Just call your reporters to find out that are they doing that. They even said that before you get there to be captured, they will text you to make sure that you're okay before you're allowed to touch their system. That's false, probable lie. It's not happening, and you just can walk in and walk out, and that's all that the EC want to achieve. I mean, it's not. And yesterday, in many of the polling stations, Madam, you should be there to see that people that are turned up this morning at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, had to stay there till 5 o'clock, and over 300 to 600 people standing. Nobody were, I mean, they had only 60 registered voters. You can imagine what is happening.
All right, so very quickly, how can the process be improved going forward?
The process can be improved, but only Madam Jimensa and the MPP. They would be able to tell us, because we are not part of their arrangement. They have made their arrangement. All that we are doing is to call our Ghanaians who have lost their jobs, if they want their jobs back, if anybody that wants his freedom should go and do register. That is what we are doing. That is the only work we are doing. Around Kumasi now, moving all the way to get our people out and Ghanaians out to come and register and to observe the social distancing so that we get them to vote come December 7th.
Right, so now there's a new presidential aspirant in town, and he's determined to go boot for boot with the MPP's Nana Akufo-Addo and the NDC's John Dramani Mahama. That is, if he's able to satisfy the conditions necessary by law ahead of the December polls. Independent presidential aspirant Samuel Ofori Ampofo is an engineer, he's an entrepreneur, and he's a former rural banker. He's been addressing the media today in Accra, and he's promising jobs, improvement of Ghana's economy, and fighting corruption effectively.
The IMF and the World Bank have deceived the NDC and the MPP the last 28 years. into believing that it is not the business of government to create jobs for its people. As president, my government will set up productive industries all over the country and request for local capitalization. We must apply a common sense, disciplined, and pragmatic approach to solving our economic problems and create jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Well, Samuel Ofori-Ampofo also adds he will offer open governance and leadership qualities that Ghanaians have not ever had. Watch.
Open governance and leadership qualities that has never existed in this country before. The qualities of, giving Ghanaians the best choices to decide on what, we need in the society. And of course, doing mathematics on the economy and improve the economy based on the numbers that we have proposed in our book. I believe that Ghanaians are fed up with the system, and definitely they are looking for a change. And therefore, the change we are going to provide on our front is a dynamic leadership from the independent candidature.
So that's Samuel Ofori-Ampofo. He's an independent presidential aspirant. That would be all for your election brief for today. I'm Marba Kumsin. Join us same time tomorrow.